Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And in this video, I'm going to create a simple server with a functionality request and response using Node.js. And you can see here in the screen is my VS Code open with app.js. In Node.js, there is built-in modules called HTTP. This module is used for creating a server using Node.js. For us to be able to use it, we need to import this module into our app.js so that we can create a server. I'm going to wrap this HTTP with a string single quote and parentheses, open and close parentheses. And to be able to import that into our application, we are going to use the function require. This is how Node.js import modules into the application. And let's assign that to a variable called HTTP. So these lines now import this module HTTP. Now that we have that, we can now use HTTP. It has a method called create server, and this create server accepts a callback. We can pass in a callback into this by using anonymous function. And we just have to console out the output. Let's say request, and this request is one of the two parameters of this anonymous function callback. The first parameter is the request, and the second parameter is the response. Request is responsible for receiving client request to the server, and response is responsible for sending response to that request. For now, we're just logging the request to see if when we request from the client, our server received that request. And it has a method called listen, and we can listen to port 3000. So now we have a simple server. Let's run that here. Called app.js. So when we use the method listen, our code now will run into an infinite loop waiting for any request coming from the client. But what will happen if we comment this for now and run the app? You can see here what happened is that I run the Node.js here, the app.js, and it basically ran the lines we have there and then stop. Now if we add listen and we run again the Node.js, our server, this listen will continuously or infinitely listening to any request from the client. So let's run that again. And you can see here, this is blinking here, meaning our server is now continuously running infinitely waiting for request. Let's visit the localhost 3000 and enter to perform a request. And we can see here in our terminal there are bunch of lines information here. This is information coming from the client request. That was caused by this log because we okay, what I'm going to do now is to make this more readable. First, I'm going to assign this to a constant variable called server, and this server has listen method with which accept port 3000. Let's also define a variable here called port with the value of 3000 and pass in the port here, and let's define another anonymous function in the second parameter, and we just have to log here informing that the server is running on port on that port variable. This one here, we can also simplify this by removing the function and making this an arrow function. And since this is just a single line, we can omit for now the curly braces. And if we run this again, we can now see it is now logging server is running on port 3000. So here in the browser, it automatically reload the page, making another request. What we can do is revisit our server side and let's see. And here you can see the same result previously. Now we know that our server is receiving a request from the browser or the client, but in the client we don't see any response from the server. So that's what we are going to do next. Let's remove this console log request here and let's define a response. We're going to use the second parameter of this anonymous arrow function response, and this has a method right head, which we define a header of our response. It accepts the status, and the second parameter is the content type. And the content type is text/HTML. So we will be responding HTML to the request. And in the next line, we will use again response and use the method end, and we just have to display the hello world. Let's change this to comma because two parameters. So this line here basically it accepts a request from the client, and now we are responding with an HTML, a simple hello world to the browser. Now let's rerun our node app.js. And let's revisit our browser again to test it. You can see here when the browser requests create another request to the server we created, we can now see a response from the server, a hello world. So now we have seen and successfully create a simple server using Node.js. So that's it for now. Stay tuned for more video and thank you for watching.